All right, so let's start with neuroscience. So I connected neuroscience to Piaget um, because he based his knowledge of the brain to come up with his theory of the cognitive development. Neuroscience also connects to Vygotsky because he used his knowledge of neuroscience to create the socio-cultural theory. I also connected neuroscience to nature and nurture um, because there's a debate of whether a child's personality is the way it is and the way their brain function is because of either of the two. And then I connected nature to cerebral cortex with neurons also, because neurons are located in the brain and the cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the cerebellum, which is the part of the brain. And then I also connected synapse to neurons because a synapse is the space between two nerve cells where impulses pass through. And then I connected continuity to the synapse because continuity is the unbroken and consistent existence or operation of something over a period of time. If the neurons are fired often and the impulse is sent over the synapse, the knowledge stays. If the neuron does not get used and there is discontinuity, which is a distinct break of physical continuity over a sequence of time. Continuity also conflicts the critical periods, which are the maturational stage in the lifespan of an organism, during which the nervous system is especially sensitive to a certain environmental change. So during this change, the continuity of the knowledge grows stronger because you are using the knowledge every day. It also goes with sensitive periods, which is a period of time during someone's development in which a particular skill or characteristic is believed to be most readily acquired. In order for this to happen, there has to be continuity, because if it didn't have the knowledge, the knowledge would not stay in the brain. So then we go back up to Piaget and his theory of cognitive development. So the first step in the theory is the sensory motor stage, which is where the infant constructs an understanding of the world by coordinating sensory experiences with physical actions. This connects to assimilation, because the child is creating an understanding of the information of an object in their environment, which connects to accommodation, which takes the original schemes built-in assimilation, and it builds on it, adding more knowledge to the brain. Schemes are patterns of thinking or behavior, and then the equilibrium is restoring balances to the schemes. And then the disequilibrium, which is connected to schemes as well, is when the scheme does not create the stage a child begins to represent. Does not create the satisfying result. So then after the first phase of the theory of cognitive development, we go to the pre-operational stage. In this stage, the child begins to represent the world using the words and images. And then the next stage is the concrete operational stage, which is where the child can logically think about events and can classify objects to different sets. And then the final step of the cognitive development theory is the formal operational stage. This is where the adolescent reasons in more abstract, idealistic, and logical ways. So, and then the cognitive development theory, I connected that with plasticity, which refers to how the brain is able to change throughout the life. And the theory of cognitive development shows that the brain changes over time through the different stages. And then I also connected that to neuroscience, because neuroscience is about the growth of the brain and the science of neurons. So then let's go over to private speech. So this means a child is talking themselves through a problem and working out loud. You can tell if the child is moving from stage to stage or through the zone of proximal development. As they work through each problem, private speech and the zone connect because the teacher uses verbal prompts structure as scaffolding to help the child solve each problem or task. The adult supports gradually reduced as the child takes over, often giving self-prompts as private speech, inner speech. The zone of proximal development is a level of development immediately above a person's present level. So, and this is Vygotsky's theory. So that's how I connected it to that. People communicate, think, solve problems, or create knowledge with the cultural tools, which are right here. And I connected that to the Vygotsky and psychological tools. So by the analogy I created, I connected this to Vygotsky because he used to explain how people gain knowledge, and I connected it to the scheme. Because it helps build more schemes and knowledge. Vygotsky created the socio-cultural theory, which interacts between children and more knowledgeable members of society, and I connected that the co-constructed process is a higher mental process that are shared with activities that are internalized by the child and become a part of the cognitive process, which connects to the cultural tools, because you are internalizing the cultural tools to create a higher understanding of the world. And then the psychological tools, which also connect to the cultural tools because they both use experiences and culture to create the knowledge and build larger schemes. And then throughout the map, I kind of color coordinated it. So if it's under neuroscience, which I connected everything under neuroscience, I circled it in blue. And then I kind of broke it up into like big sections of each map. So the purple is under Piaget. So I connected all of it by purple and used that as a big section of the map. And then I went over to green, which is nature, because that was a big part. And then the scheme I did in red because a lot of it related to this scheme. And then Vygotsky was another big section I did in orange. So yeah, that's my concept map.